It has been quite a while since the Shoddycast posted its first video exploring the connections between Fallout and the Mad Max franchise, and since that time a lot has happened. Fallout 4 was released, and before that Fury Road rolled into theaters getting 10 Oscar nominations, including one for Best Picture. With that in mind, we thought it'd be a great time to jump back into Max's world and give you a few more connections it shares with Fallout's Wasteland. Oh and yes, Austin is gone this week. My name is Andrew, aka Stalli111, and I'm going to be filling in while Austin plans his next big rethinking video. It's hard to overstate the influence that George Miller's post-apocalyptic vision of the future has had on Fallout as a whole. Todd Howard named Mad Max as one of the pieces of media that the Bethesda team soaks up while developing a Fallout game. So, first off, let's start by going way back to Fallout 2, where one reference to Max actually has the potential to get your character killed. In Fallout 2, if you are some kind of terrible monster and decide to attack Dogmeat, a very mysterious stranger will appear, dressed all in black leather. He'll say, "Hey mate, you screwing with me dog?" This character is not so coincidentally named Mel. Him and his dialogue are, of course, a reference to the Australian actor Mel Gibson, who played Max in the first 3 films, as well as led my ancestors into battle over 700 years ago. This isn't the only time Mel shows up though. A very different looking version of the character appears in Fallout 3. This Mel will attempt to rob you using a sawed-off shotgun with no ammo in it. Most of us probably know that this weapon is Max's weapon of choice, but it goes a bit deeper than that, as it's also a reference to a specific scene in The Road Warrior, where Max threatens a character named Gyro with an unloaded sawn-off shotgun. One Mad Max movie we haven't touched on much is Beyond Thunderdome, probably the least well-received movie of the franchise, but even a few references to that film can be seen in the Fallout series. Kind of all over the place actually. Bethesda has cited it as a big source of inspiration when designing the armour for their Fallout titles. In fact, the name of the Blastmaster helmet is taken directly from Master Blaster, the infamous fighting duo that Max battles in Thunderdome. And that's not the only reference to the character. The achievement, Who Runs Bartertown, is an obscure nod to the line of dialogue that he says in the film. Even the Vault Boy gets in on the action, getting in full Master Blaster armour in an achievement. Oh, and then there's the little fact of the Fallout 3 expansion, The Pit, which is basically one huge homage to the film. Not only are the concepts very similar, but the arena slaves are dressed very much like those seen in the film. In a previous Fallout video, we mentioned that Codsworth's long list of names he's able to say included Furiosa, a main character in Fury Road. But it turns out that's just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to Bethesda's Max fandom. Also included on the list is Rakansky, Max's last name, Toadie, a minor but memorable character in The Road Warrior. And from Fury Road there's Splendid, Capable, Toast, Dag, Rictus, Erectus, and Slit, Immortan Joe's entire harem of slaves who escaped with Furiosa in the film. Speaking of Immortan Joe, his name is included as well, along with the villain of the first Mad Max film, Toe Cutter. And here is a bonus piece of movie trivia for you. Those 2 villains are actually played by the exact same actor, Hugh Case Byrne. Anyway, when it comes to naming your character from a Mad Max movie, Fallout 4 should have you covered. So, now it's time for our comment showcase. Our good comment comes to us from Ace Taylor, who brings up the intriguing theory about the Fallout New Vegas character, Old Lady Gibson, the proprietor of Gibson's Scrapyard. Many fans believe her to be a reference to who else? Mel Gibson himself. But, sure, the name could just be a coincidence. But the most compelling evidence comes from the fact that she just so happens to carry the single most powerful sawn-off shotgun in the game, the Big Boomer. So, what do you guys think? Is Old Lady Gibson a reference to the former Max, or are we reading into this way too much? Alright, now we come to this week's bad comment, which comes from Spencer Presley, who asks, "What if Dogmeat's a synth?" You know what, Spencer? You just blew my mind. I really think you're onto something here. Keep investigating this and please get back to us. That concludes this episode of Hidden History. Be sure to like, subscribe and share us all over the internet. But before we go, we've got to get our trivia question. Last week we asked you what the protagonist of Bioshock Infinite had branded on his hand, and many of you answered correctly. It was B, AD. This week we have a tougher Fallout question for you. Found in Fallout 3, the McClellan family townhome is a reference to the McClellan family found in what famous sci-fi novel? A. Canticle for Leibowitz. B. The War of the Worlds. C. Fahrenheit 451. Or D. Stranger in a Strange Land. Tell us down below.